had a crazy little past weekend type of thing, and there's just so much. First of all, I started off not last week, the week before that. I was doing yard work and stuff like that, and my allergies went like haywire. Had a video visit with my doctor. She said it's allergies, that I should take Zyrtec and use like nasal saline. And then I noticed like on my eye there was like this clear little bubble, and it's very, very minute. Like you really can't see it unless you're looking for it. So I was told to use artificial tears. So with all that going on, I'm like, okay, like this is crazy, because like that clear bubble, from what I was researching and from what my doctor said, it doesn't go away on its own. It has to be surgically removed, and it's considered a cosmetic. So, all right, that's that. After that, um, this past week I slept wrong. I usually sleep like this, so I guess I tensed up my shoulder, and it went up my neck, and it caused a tension headache, and the headache would jump all over. And then I would get like these flashes, like my face would get hot, my neck, then my whole body, and it was just like a lot. And I knew I should check my blood pressure, because since I was 17, they were telling me I should go on blood pressure medicine. I said no, I want to do it on my own. Somehow I got away with it all these years without having to get put on it. And most of their suggestions was to reduce your caffeine, stop smoking, eat healthier, exercise. So I did it on my own. I lost like 60. First, I lost 75 pounds, gained back 10 pounds. So I'm 65 down total. And when I would go to my doctor for the past couple months, my blood pressure would read um, slightly high, not anything crazy. Like it would be between 125 over 85 or 125 over 90, sometimes 140 over 90. It was just like it wasn't as high as it used to be. And Friday night I had my mom do my reading, and it was really high. So I called my doctor that was on call for the nighttime, and I was told to go to the ER. I went to the ER, and then they were like, we can't give you any blood pressure medicine. Only your doctor could do that, because if we give it to you now, if your blood pressure drops, your heart could stop. I'm like, freaking out at this point. But they were asking me all these questions, and I said I did have headache and pain. So she's like, most of the time, our blood pressure is elevated if there's an infection or an inflammation in the body somewhere, or if you have pain. So they gave me 2 Tylenol. The tension headache went away and everything like that. As soon as that went away, my blood pressure went down. They had me hooked up to an EKG. No IV or anything like that. Basically, it was just Tylenol and me sitting there. And it went down, and then they told me to schedule or follow up with my doctor on Monday. So did my doctor. She told me as soon as I go to the ER and whatever to schedule on Monday. Came home, went to bed, woke up, read my blood pressure. It was high. Read it an hour and a half later. It was normal. And then read it again, and it was high. So I just napped throughout the whole day. Woke up this morning, it was high, waited a half hour, and it went down. Now, I know there's a lot of things that can contribute to this. Of course, I'm a smoker and I drink coffee. And normally, on a typical day, I would drink 2 to 3 cups of coffee a day. But now, probably I'm drinking more, sometimes less. It all depends on how I feel. And for me, like caffeine, I understand caffeine does that, but I didn't think it did it that much. But I know the whole smoking, definitely smoking a lot more, because when I would work, of course, you don't get to smoke that much. So, like, most of the times that I smoked was either when I woke up with my coffee, on my way to work, on my way back, and maybe one or two at work. So, like, I wasn't smoking as much. And then now I'm smoking a lot more. And it's just scary. It's scary. And I have to decide if I'm gonna go on blood pressure medicine or not. And I was telling the nurse that I was I like holistic healing, and I try to avoid medicine. And she's like, "There's a lot of things you can holistically approach, but she's like, your blood pressure is nothing to mess around with." Then a lot of people say if you get on the blood pressure medicine, it's hard to get off of it. But I know once I get to a healthy weight, reduce my smoking or quit totally, and reduce my caffeine intake, that most likely I can get rid of the high blood pressure through that. But in the meantime, I might need to have a supplemental helper with the pill, and I really don't want to do it. But I also have to prevent myself from getting a heart attack or a stroke, which is very scary. No one really appreciates their health until something happens to them that makes them like really scared. And yeah, that's that. But I also, like, when I told her about my ear, I was like, sometimes my jaw hurts or like right in here hurts. And she checked my ears and she said everything's fine. But when I went back in January or December, end of December, the doctor said there was inflammation in the eardrum. They gave me steroids. It didn't go away. A week later, I ended up getting, a week later, I ended up getting the flu, but they put me on antibiotics. And when I was on the antibiotics, it went away, and then the flu went away, and then I was fine for a week or two, and then I ended up getting an upper respiratory, and that pain came back after the upper respiratory went away. This went away, so now it's back, and it feels like the ear gets clogged, like the jaw hurts, this hurts. So it's just weird. I don't know if there's something going on in my sinuses that's causing this or what, but I feel like I don't know. I just don't know. It's just freaking crazy. Me personally, I feel like something is wrong. Like maybe I have an infection somewhere that my blood pressure's going high, but like no one's gonna listen and try to and do the testing to get to what I need to get. And plus, it's hard now with the COVID-19 going around and stuff like that. It's really hard to go physically see a doctor and try to get down to the solution for things. And what's crazy before all this is for the past year and a half, I was having issues with hemorrhoid, heartburn, indigestion, bloating, all that stuff. So when I did vegan, it kind of went away, but it didn't go away completely. When I did keto, it went away completely. But then I got tested and I don't have celiac. I might have an allergy to gluten if I don't have celiac, but they didn't say, oh, you might have gluten sensitivity. So when I was vegan, um, I started a week and a half ago. I started introducing dairy back in because I said it wasn't going to be permanent, because I knew at some point, in order for me to lose my weight, I had to do very low carb or keto, because my body just on the vegan diet, it didn't do anything. Like I was losing inches, but it wasn't helping me. I just needed to drop. I need to drop weight, because all the extra weight is what's causing all the stress on my body, even though I did strength training and cardio at the gym 45 days a week. And so now I'm doing very low carbs, and I'm just trying my best. I know my cholesterol was elevated. It wasn't crazy elevated, but it was elevated. So, of course, cholesterol affects high blood pressure. And that's that. Oh, and when it comes to the whole hemorrhoids and constipation and stuff, the doctor checked me for all that. My kidneys came back clear. Everything came back clear. So the only thing was my iron was low, but I got that elevated. My vitamin D was very low. I got that elevated because I was starting to thin and lose my hair also too. And they say that happens from vitamin D and B12 and stuff like that. So I started taking those supplements, started feeling better. And I was supposed to have a colonoscopy and endoscopy in June to see if I had, they possibly thought I might have IBS or Crohn's, but I can't get tested for that now because they're limiting all that stuff due to the COVID-19. So COVID-19 definitely affected a lot of people because it limited me from going to the gym. Because I don't know about you guys, I used to walk all the time, 10,000 steps a day outside, and that helped me. But it's cold, it's hard to walk out there, and I try to do cardio and stuff at home, and it's just not the same effect as me getting dressed and going to the gym for an hour, hour and a half, 4 to 5 days a week, or even going outside and doing an hour and a half to 2 hour walk. So it really affected me that way. Of course, anxiety. Of course, eating more. Of course, having more coffee and smoking more. So there's a lot of negative things that happen, but also there's a lot of good things that happen from this whole virus, like the earth is getting clean and stuff like that. But anyway, so Friday, that's what happened to me. I went to the ER. Saturday morning, I wake up and I come downstairs and my mom's like, Max, I have two dogs and a cockatoo. Max is my senior, he's 13. Dallas is my other dog, he's 7. And then I have Susu, my cockatoo. She goes, Max fell down the steps today. He fell down 5 steps. I was like, what do you mean? She's like, he just fell off the steps and his back leg split. And I'm like, what? And then she goes, yeah, I put him in the other room on a blanket and stuff. And I go and he's laying there in the blanket, not moving. He tried to get up because he was happy to see me and he couldn't get up. So I called his doctor and they said to bring him in. So I went to go drop him off. But when I went to go pick him up, I noticed he was like bleeding on his snout. And I'm like, what's this? I never noticed this. Now, mind you, he does get a little cheese heads and stuff on his body. I figured that's because he's older. And he has this like bubble in his ear that like it pops and the liquid comes out and then it shrinks and then it grows back. So I'm like, okay. Took him to the doctor. And mind you, about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, they told me his white blood cells were elevated. There's possible he might have cancer or something like that. And I was like, I'm not putting him through anything for his age because he's still a little older and I just don't want to put him through that. Well, he was there. I get a call and she goes, there's a couple things. And I'm like, okay. First, she goes to me, he's able to put pressure on all his legs. She doesn't think anything's broken. It could be because he's older and he might have sprained something. I'm like, okay. So she's like, then we noticed a couple lumps and bumps here. There's too many. I was like, okay. And she goes, the thing in his ear would need to be surgically removed because we could drain it, but it'll still keep coming back unless you go out and remove the socket. All right. She goes, the bleeding on his nose is actually from his root of his tooth caused an abscess and it caused it to come out of the skin. That's another $600 to $800 to remove it, she said. Then he has periodontal disease. Then she said his endocrine system is really elevated. His white blood cell counts are high. She goes, do you ever hear of Cushing's disease? I said, no. She goes, there's a high chance that he has Cushing's disease. She's like, do you notice him trying to eat more, drink more, urinate more? I was like, yeah, that's been the case for about 1.5 years. You can't throw anything in the garbage or else he'll like knock it over while we're sleeping and he'll try to eat it. And he's begging like a lot. And she goes, most likely he has that. She goes, well, to diagnose it, it's $500 and then $250 from there, and then about $100 to $200 a month for medication every month, and it's a very expensive disease to diagnose and treat. It's not curable either because it's tumors that either go in the adrenal glands or the pineal gland. I'm like, okay. Then she said his ears are infected and blah, blah, blah. By the time all is said and done, the whole doctor visit and everything was free, the blood work, everything. I just had to pay for medicines. Well, the medicines, they gave me 6 different kinds of medicines. It ends up being $320. I'm like, okay. Then we discuss the options of all these surgeries, and by the time it was said and done, it was thousands and thousands of dollars. And Shih Tzus typically last anywhere from 10 to 16 years. And she's like, he's 13 in a couple months. So he's past the life expectancy. And he could last another 3 years. He could not last another 3 years, but with everything that's going on, it definitely reduced his life. And I talked to a couple people and myself, and they said that mostly everyone I talked to said that the best thing to do is just keep him comfortable and pain-free or a little less pain until when the time is right, which is a very hard and difficult decision because Max was His name is Max. Um, I got him 12 and a half years ago, when my stepdad passed away. I bought him for my mom, my brother, and my sister because I've always wanted a dog, but they've always wanted a dog too. So I got them that to help them not think about the death as much. And he's been in our family ever since. And he's a good dog. He doesn't bite, he doesn't attack. He welcomes everyone in our home with love and care, unlike the other one. He's a little monster. And he's just always been the sweetest dog. And I cried a lot yesterday. Um, so for the next 2 weeks, he's on 6 different medicines until we can get rid of the inflammation, infection, and reduce the swelling everywhere, and uh, heal everything in the meantime until until then. And then when we go back for his booster shot for his Lyme disease booster shot, I'm gonna talk to a doctor from there, and then we're gonna have come up with a plan for pain management. And then I'm just gonna keep an eye on him and watch him and just let him live the rest of his life without all those surgeries and crazy shit. And when the time is right, then I'd have to come up with that solution. It's not easy, but that's it. So a lot happened in the last couple days to like a week or two, and it's just crazy. Just count your blessings. You never know. You never know what's going on in life. So just hope everyone's safe. Thank you.